stop laughing, y'all. Yo,
I was really trying.
I literally
I
felt
was
my
like,
mouth. I was
don't
out.
snicker. Like, just,
My whole junk was out. I felt like it. I was
I know your mouth was all open. I was like, oh my God. They're
like, oh
so
my god.
clever. Oh,
Wait, we are just not. We gotta get to the meat of what just happened. I am William Alexander. We have Lovey the Fairy. We are often missing our freaking finder. We hope that we find her way back here. This is
we
Chestnut
will.
Checkers. We have Kristen Rare Sense oversighting and overseeing. So, with that being said, like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe. And
Share
I'm
and
going to get these
follow.
banners up. She's so good at these. Make sure you like and subscribe on Chestnut Checkers YouTube. We're here. Chestnut Checkers 89. Also, make sure you check us out. Contact us. Do what you got to do. And we're on Twitch now, y'all. We're on TikTok, Instagram,
We're
Facebook,
everywhere.
now Twitch. Like, I don't govern Twitch. I'm learning how to. I heard you were lying. And I'm worried about you. So with that said, let's get to the meat of matters of why we were just cracking up. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. We gonna let this play in the background. Is this too loud for? Well, you probably don't hear it anyway. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Kristen is normally the one that does this. She's so good at
Okay, Django.
she's so good at pointing and clicking and talking and multitasking and doing what she got to do that
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know for a fact that I would have a problem doing that. I can chew gum and play the bass. I can sing and walk and sometimes talk. But talking like this and being able to navigate and circumvent stuff, I'm like, that's why when the music came on, I was like in 3, and we was looking like, like real weird. It was a weird moment. I'm sorry, y'all. It was a weird moment. It was us though. Like my glasses was off. I'm like, listen, we do. Kristen, we miss you.
Right,
Is
we
what I'm
miss
saying.
you.
Listen,
Peace.
get your ass out of that training. And
Right.
listen,
Come
we
on
love
back,
you. We
babe.
miss you. We're
Love
doing good.
you.
I was doing so much work. My hands is ashy, but you
First
can't
of
really
all,
tell. Well, my thumb is really messed up.
just don't
With
turn your
that
hand in
being
that
said,
direction. You're good.
Lovey, how have you been?
It's been a wonderful time, and I want to say it's been enlightening. I've learned a few more things today, and even about myself in this journey.
Hmm. But I'm excited for you. I don't want to even go down that rabbit hole. We got a moment for it. But listen, I'm excited and I'm happy for you. I like the genuine, authentic laugh and the smile. I like the moments. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Things could be better, always, but we're always going greater. And that's what I like to see it. I'm doing a lot greater, a lot better. Django don't fall. So if y'all haven't noticed, there's no more meowing outside.
Let him
Right.
in and he
So
shows his
Django's
tail.
looking at me like I'm
Come
crazy. He's
on.
like, now all of a sudden you want my attention. So Django, here's a little story about Django. Django had a little attitude. I had meant to get him fixed, but then stuff happened. Things started to go on, and I procrastinated, and he became a violent, territorial, what they call alpha cat. So Django
Yeah.
decides to say, hey, if I'm not going to be the alpha cat, I'm going to shit on your pillow.
Wow.
So, no. So now he's locked out of my room. And then he decides to say, hey, I need to go sow my oats. So I open the door to go to work one day. Pew, he takes off. I said, listen, you're not coming back. I promise you're not going to come back. So as he's trying to get himself back in, I said, no, you're not coming back until we take care of you. You got to get fixed. You got to get vaccinated. You got to get the flea bath and everything. So he had to sit outside. So a couple Wednesdays, y'all kept hearing him, desperate cries for help. He was fed. It was warm outside, and he has friends outside. He was doing great. He got flea dip, bathed, and here is Django, ladies and gentlemen. He is back
Welcome
and
back,
minding
Django.
his business, and has no cares in the world. Zen trying to be like hissing because he's gonna get Django like ain't nobody worried about you.
Listen,
Listen, but shouts out to Django. He is back. He's gonna be making his way back and forth. But with that said, oh man, yo, shouts out. I get a chance to really just be so happy for this special guest we have on and is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do, we got some current events to cover. And I apologize if these current events don't make you feel 100% great. Diddy got 4 years.
that's
Sentencing
it.
happened. He got 4 years. He's in there. They thought that he was just going to be in and out. They said, nope, he's going to be in there. And they literally verbatim read everything that everybody read back to him. And they said, listen, this is the time for you to get the help you need. You are an asset to society, but something the hell is wrong with you. With that being said, in Abington, Pennsylvania, a 15-year-old girl shoots and this is a reason why I'm mentioning this. She shoots and kills her boyfriend for a disagreement that happens. So now she's being tried as an adult for third-degree murder and manslaughter. Y'all do
Wow.
better. Take care of your kids.
Right. Pay attention.
It is not just about putting a belt to the behinds. Listen to what they're saying and also what they're not saying.
Right.
It's important. It's super important. A little bit more. I don't know if y'all know about P Valley, but the Creator Hall, Katori Hall, breaks her silence about now concluded copyright infringement lawsuit. She may win this. She may win it.
Wow.
Amazon, be careful. We also have. Let me keep it pushing here. Dolly Parton's sister asks us to send up prayers for Dolly Parton. Black folk love her ourselves some Dolly Parton, and Dolly Parton loves us.
Fox.
Something's going on with Dolly. We gonna send our prayers up for Dolly Parton.
We
We
praying for you,
have
darling.
this was a very interesting one. Odell Beckham, sir,
Mm,
you're older. He's now doing 6 months suspension for PEDs.
for real.
Now, in defense, the dude didn't had an ACL tear and then broke his leg and then had another ACL tear.
Oh my God.
Right. And he's like 36. So,
I'm
I mean, I don't think he willingly meant to,
right.
but I understand if you did. Take your suspension, become a coach, is all I'm saying. It sounds bad, don't it?
It
Prayers
does.
up,
It's like
prayers
I
up
said,
for
it's over
Dion.
for you. Get over it.
Right, right. I mean, at some point, you don't have to beg to be a part of something.
I mean, he did. So,
Not when you were the first one picked.
right.
You know what I mean? Like over and over again, it's coming a
It's
thing.
not like his choices are so limited, to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's so tall. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird situation with them.
6 months is
The,
not even that long, but
we
come
have
back.
Deion Sanders and family. Keep them in prayer. Deion is having more blood clots showing up in his legs,
Oh my
and
God.
also throughout his body. Whether you like what he says or dislike what he says, you gotta admire this man's belief in him and his family and in his
Right.
namesake and legacy. He's hurting like crazy. He's already had an amputations. He's already going through procedures. He's always going through, but at the same point, he's still coaching. He's still advocating. He's still standing by his word. So if you can't do anything, respect him for that. Send a prayer out for that young man or that elder. Aisha Curry, ma'am, I get it. I get it. If you guys don't know who Aisha Curry is, that is Stephen Curry. I guess his name is Steph Curry's wife. Um,
Right.
she made a claim again. She said, she oftentimes talks to her therapist about the time when she or about what if she was never married or never had kids. Ma'am, let me tell you something. I understand the what if clause, but you also got to understand who you are.
Right.
You married an NBA player. That was your choice. Likely, you'd marry another NBA player. The end. Your name would be Aisha, somebody else, number 24, number 46. It is
Good
what it
night.
is. You've made that your home, and that is okay. That is okay. And if with permission, you guys don't see it, I get to see it. Thumbs up, good gentlemen, if you are ready, or if you need another moment. Can you see us, Mr. Gray? Thumbs up if you can see us. Thumbs up if you can't. Thumbs up if you're ready. Thumbs up if you're not. Or thumbs down if you're not. Okay, great. What we're gonna do, I'm excited. I got sent a gentleman's profile this afternoon, and I wish that I had a moment to really dissect and paraphrase it. But even if I had a day, I would not be able to paraphrase this man's
Right.
biography. And just to this, I was listening. I asked him, well, I told him, I said, listen, we're not going to go into anything. Matter of fact, let me know what you don't want to talk about, and we'll go ahead and we'll go from there. He says, I'm gonna keep it a beam, but when you meet him, you'll understand why I apologize to this man first and center. Mr. Gray, I apologize. He said, check out my bio. I didn't already saw a little bit of his Facebook page and stuff that I was sent, but I was like, who does this dude think he is? But when I read it, I was like, not only do I want to know more about this gentleman, but I want to be a part of the campaign. And I didn't even hear a word he said yet. So I'm going to read a little bit of it, and anything that needs to be corrected, charge it to my head, not my heart. But I'm going to read this thing. I was told he's going to be here by 8. He's here early. I'm blown away by this dude already. Driven by the grief of losing his cousin Jahid Jihad to gun violence in 2018, Anthony Gray Jr. became devoted to serving his local community and trying to work through his own pain. He began to witness firsthand the immense suffering caused by systemic negligence and abuse. Through consistent volunteering at Elijah's Promise, a soup kitchen in New Brunswick, New Jersey, the importance of human dignity and social justice became a growing urgency in Anthony's heart. It is with his passion that he further extended his community involvement into mentoring with Big Brother Big Sister, becoming the outreach director of Shiloh and pioneering the direct services and mailing program of the New Jersey Harm Reduction. Over the last 5 years, he's desired to serve as a helping hand. Ooh, and has equipped him with the invaluable and diverse set of certifications, skills, and experiences. In-depth volunteering with Newark Community Street Team, Black Lives Matter, Patterson, Impact Church of Woodbridge, Department of Health, Chabad House, and more has taught him how to be an adaptable, solution oriented team player. By creating safe spaces for individuals to feel heard, respected, and valued, Anthony naturally empowers the intelligence, talent, and potential of every person he comes in contact with. It is his character that makes him a trusted community member and leader amongst vulnerable populations as well as his own peers. Now, I thought this was done. I said, well, damn, who did I not prepare for?
Right.
Let's keep going. He has been requested to share his expertise in advocacy, harm reduction, public health, community organizing, and holistic care in several places, a few being Raritan Valley Community College, Rutgers University, the Community Corner Podcast, Warren Middle School, CBS New York. Sheesh.
Um,
His innovation, infectious joy, and enriched perspective have become an integral part of many nonprofit, grassroots, and wellness organizations that serve communities in New Jersey. What makes Anthony Gray so special, and this is what blew me away, because like I said, I owe this man an apology. What makes this Anthony Gray so special and empowered in his vocation is his sincerity, innocence, and devotion to uplifting humanity. Every day through education, Anthony works to understand transcend the mental, spiritual, and social and economic barriers that thwart the progression of freedom, not just the freedom of himself, family, people, or town, but the entire world. against systems and circumstances that can make even the smallest positive change feel impossible, Anthony continues to show us all the global impact we can have if we lead and live with the principles of God, love, and unity in our hearts. To stay updated, now this is when I need Kristen. I really need Kristen on this one. To stay updated, we're going to ask that you follow this young man on YouTube. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel, y'all. I checked it out and I was blown away. Listen, I was legit blown away. I'm like, William, step your game up. I'm writing on my mirror with dry erase markers. Like, I gotta reaffirm and relay out my plan. Cause listen, without further ado, we have the one, the only Mr. Anthony Gray Jr. in the building. If you guys love it, put some likes, put some heart. Make sure you guys subscribe and listen to what's going on. Mr. Gray Jr., how are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Welcome.
Peace, peace, peace. Can I get a pronunciation on both of y'all names real quick?
My name is William.
William
I'm Lovey.
and Loving.
Lovey.
Loving. It's an honor to meet y'all, and thank you for hosting me here. Shout out to Kristen too. I know she's not here right now, but she's been a really great pillar in my development and why I'm here right now. And William, that was a great introduction. I'm really, really honored to hear back all of that. And yeah,
I will take that as an acceptance of my apology. It was something to read, man. Wow.
Um,
Let's give the world an understanding. I need to get an understanding of who this person is. I read some of this. You lost a family member to gun violence, especially. Um, how does that shape your narrative today? Like, even that was 2018. We're in 2025 now.
yeah,
Things happen, life changes. How's that shaping your narrative today? We see the world happening.
yeah.
I, I,
And
I made I'm before you answer, I did make mention of, and I hope it wasn't sensitive, but I did make mention of a violent killing that happened in Abington, Pennsylvania. 15-year-old girl to a 20-year-old boy. How does that shape your journey, your agency, your purpose, your niche?
mhm. I think we should take some time to honor that in the history. Take that time to stop and to feel. That's usually one of the first steps before trying to act on anything. We need to feel the complexities of that and her life loss, the many lives that probably are going on unsaid right now. I think we should spend some take some time to honor that first and foremost. Um, then I kind of moving with God, moving with love as a start of the foundation. I'm just a child, my product of my parents, and I give thanks to them. Usually got to start off giving thanks and honoring the shoulders that I stand on, because it's not just me. It's a community of people behind
Yeah.
me, and kind of taking that time to honor all the disparities, honor all of the heartbreak that's going on. It's just being real, and there's nothing to shy away from the complexities of life. I think that we're in a time where we're making more space to feel that.
And do you believe that yeah, I guess in 2025, do you think that we're growing with the understanding of love? I mean, because people have their belief, they're like, oh, love, intimacy. But as we get older and we get to experience things, do you think that we're now learning that love is something that has to be present? It's necessary in order to even have a common understanding.
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely in that frequency. uh this is the only way, like, kind of through it, you move with the foundation that's not built off of the action, because love is not just a word, it's an action. You have to be disciplined, and kind of what that means to hold it first within yourself, and how you self-love yourself. You take care of yourself before you could take care of anybody else. I think, along with myself, and I'm sure we're all navigating how to continue to be loved despite of not just being Black and African people, but also just human beings on this planet, and sharing it with everybody, resources, economics, education. There's a lot going on. So what I feel is like always good to do is, start with yourself. And if we all are on that same type of frequency and vibration, that's how our light illuminates. We have those conversations, amongst ourselves. If it's attracting, then it's attracting. Because usually if you're chasing things, it's not meant for you. You want to attract. And that it's a discipline. It's a science also to it, to try to connect, like the metaphysics, the spirituality, and the religion, and then how do we act as a society amongst ourselves? It's a huge pot of conversation and components. But I do know, as a foundation, moving with that and through the heart space, that's definitely where I'm focused on going, and I hope to finish attracting like-minded individuals along the way.
Man, you have time. Clearly you don't. You deal with the personal, right? The individual that you're speaking to, and you also deal with the multiplicity of a brand, of a business. Like you balance that.
Yeah.
Like you're able to shape a person uniquely and say, hey, look in your own mirror for your own self. And then you see the fact that this maybe could be a whole brand for you,
Mm-hmm.
a whole business for you.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you? Like you're able to see something far greater than even a naked eye. That's something crazy, you
Yeah,
know?
I could break down like a lot of the ideology that came into my business, and I actually took a step back because I'm in an evolution and I am rebranding. I established my business, the Ages Agency, about, I want to say, going on three years. And my website also has to be updated because, very fortunate enough, they did name me Big Brother of the Year in New Jersey this year, and we were able to fundraise over 200K off of our stories. That's going back
Shouts
to
out.
that goes back into that program, for them to continue to create the administration to bring more mentors into that org, with New Jersey Harm Reduction. And as y'all be able to see on a lot of my YouTube channel, and Instagram and Facebook, I was their first employee in helping that business develop a brick and mortar that's in New Jersey. We
Mm,
changed a lot of the laws around harm reduction to make naloxone more accessible and to decriminalize fentanyl testing strips. Just for example,
wow.
that now open up more opportunities for people to get jobs and more programs that are going to meet people's needs in the harm reduction sphere. It was
Right.
around it was around the time when my cousin passed away due to gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
I went to counseling about it. I went to therapy about it. I went
Sure,
to
sure.
be in my community to help organize the reason why I was feeling. And I made a song about it, and I'll quote it. It was like, I'm not sure if I'm mad at you and the choices that you made, or am I mad at the environment that we were put in as Black people. And then I think
Wow.
a lot about my family. I think a lot about how there was really no justice to even investigate this. They just named it as another Black on Black crime. And at that age, I didn't understand why. But as I start to understand the history of where we
Yeah.
are in this country, and how we've always been treated, it started to make sense that a lot of
Mm,
this, the American dream isn't my dream as a Black person, because they used to look at us like 3/5 of a person. And
right.
kind of understanding the root of the history of where we are and who we are and how we represent ourselves, I
Mm-hmm.
started to evolve my character. I was inspired by the people that I worked around to start my own. It's a for-profit, it's general consulting. So
Mm-hmm.
what I would do is just make space for other Black men that look like me. Or if you're my
Mm,
sister, if you needed a helping hand along the way, then we're going to have that conversation. What I'm grappling with now is that my people's pain, I don't think that I'm in a position to, I don't would never want to exploit. Why should we put a number and a price on helping us out if we really say that we're about love?
Yeah.
Right,
And that's
right.
where we draw the line between me showing up as a person and me showing up as a business person. So
Yeah.
applying like the studies of, for example, scientific socialism versus like me being all capitalistic, me not being so much about my individual brand more than I can be about how do I create a community of people and a community of resources where I'm able to be the bridge and help people have accessibility to things that they might not have had before. And that's
Mm.
kind of how I'm using my time. Right now, I am in Atlanta. I'm contracting with two organizations out here. As far as building relationships and expanding on my political education and my political knowledge is how I would be in benefit for people that are working 9 to 5s, that do have families that might not have the time and capacity because our minds are always in a survival mode. How are they
Yeah.
have the
Right.
time to analyze and plan out their future? And that's where I come in to help help be of a service to my people.
Mhm.
How so? It's by me being involved in mutual aid,
Yeah.
other organizations to kind of learn how that works. I first have to be a part of something, fail a lot. We keep on experimenting. We keep on trying, and a lot. This isn't the first time in history somebody like me has showed up. I'm sure like even what y'all do for this is a component of mobilizing and organizing, and the topic of conversation that I've heard
Mm.
so far
Mhm.
really get the word out of spreading awareness. And I think that's kind of how like this attracted and kind of how that interconnects. But I feel like I'm rambling now, so
No, you're definitely
No, you're
not.
not.
We're sitting here. I'm like, I
No, I'm
started to
like,
take notes. I'm like, wait a
right,
minute.
like I'm full on invested here. Please continue. Like,
Listen, I told you when I read part of your biography, it compelled me to go into your YouTube channel, and it compelled me once I was like, okay, I'm overstimulated. Let me start reading a little bit more. It's interesting, and we're talking about grassroots. You're what one would call a pioneer. You're one who is paving the way for those to have and be afforded a chance. What does that, when it's all said and done, when you're able to stand there and they're saying, here's a prize and here's an award for Anthony Gray Jr. Philanthropic Award, what would be the first word that would be on your mind?
God, I received it,
Hmm.
so it's not mine. This is something that we're all here to experience this, and it should be shared. So I'm gonna give that thanks back to my
Hmm.
creator, and then take the time to acknowledge all the health disparities and my parents, and then shoot, my acceptance speech is gonna be giving my flowers out. Honestly,
Absolutely.
we
Listen, I mean, there was just so much. Like I underestimated the research that was needed, and I thank God that I learned quickly. And like all the things that I read, all the things that I studied. First of all, shouts out to Rare Sense in the building. She was able to make her debut, guys. So we're
ow.
gonna add her to the stage if she's ready. Hey, Sugarfoot.
Well,
Hey,
Listen, that
baby.
smile gets me every freaking time. Hi,
hi,
Hey,
Sugarfoot.
babe.
How
y'all.
are you?
What's
woo,
popping with
Listen,
you?
what it do?
Kristen,
Hey, my love.
Hey, baby.
I wasn't ready for this one. This
I
young man
know.
just did, it wasn't that I wasn't ready, but I wasn't ready. Like,
Look, I told
hi,
you I
go
keep
For
ahead.
some
real,
people
like,
around me that know what they talking about when they get to talking. We know how to smoke because we don't want
Hey
no
man,
smoke.
we
That's
don't
what
want
we
no
do.
smoke. Come
that's
on
a
with
good
it.
one right here. This is a good brother right here. Listen,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead and say
Hey,
hi. We
yeah.
miss you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I miss y'all too. Look, I'm out in my car on my break. It's been a day. It's been a day.
still showing up though.
Hey, you
Listen,
here.
Every day.
this
Look,
lady is
you here.
consistent. She's consistent, and we miss you. We honor you. We love you. We try to
We love
make
you.
sure we express it. But like,
So,
yo, it's not the same. It. Did you see the beginning?
Oh,
Oh no, there she
mm-mm.
went.
uh-oh.
if she saw the
I'm still
beginning,
here. I just
we
got
All
went
right,
people
all right.
around. I
record.
don't want to be recording nobody.
No, absolutely. When we went live, we went full face and forgot to put the
Right.
banner
I
up, and
forgot
we
to
were
put the
like,
banner up.
"Hey, y'all!" Click. It was a wild moment, but we miss you so much.
I miss
Is
y'all
there
too.
anything you want to say to Anthony while he's here and before you run out of time?
And just thank you for showing up. Thank you for being awesome. You know, I knew you would be the perfect person to have on this episode because of your work that you put in heavily in New Jersey and then now here in Atlanta. And I just really appreciate your knowledge and your efforts to make the community better in any way that you can see fit.
Yeah.
There we
And
go.
thank
I
you
had to
for
get the
like,
folks that was walking by my car. I didn't want them to think I was taping them for real.
Oh man,
did you ever
listen.
give them a little synopsis of how we met?
No, actually. So we met through Devin, who is in our back chat. Like I
Hmm.
told y'all, Creators Kingdom brought a bunch of us together that would have never met for real in the onus of just networking amongst Black business. And he and I, that's like my little brother right there. Like we got to chit
Mm,
chatting and talking, and we always have great conversation, whether it be personal, business, activism, whatever we talk about. Like he and I always just click. So, you know, I
hmm.
love you. You're the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen. I'm
I gave you a
thankful.
little shout out in the beginning. I was like, yeah, you really helped me navigate a lot of like complexities when I was out in Jersey, navigating a lot of relationships. It was your wisdom and the grounding, and your honesty and the character that really like helped. And I always pull from those values when I go back out into the world. So thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. Look, I'm glad somebody sees it and I'm not the villain for it like I usually am because don't nobody want to hear me for real.
Well, that ain't about me. Let me
I don't know
bring
what
my
she's
ass
talking
out the
It's
about.
not
cold.
about
That ain't
I
anybody
got
don't
nothing to
wanting
do
to
with.
see
understand.
I
me. I
ain't got nothing to
promise.
do with it.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Listen. But I am sincerely thankful, and even for the moment of bringing Kristen to together to even bring Anthony to the platform. I believe in these types of things being non coincidental but coincidence because I believe in coinciding opportunities. When we get together, God is in the midst. It is what it is.
It
If you're
is.
pure of heart, he's there. If you're not, he's still there watching over you. So it is what it is. But I'm thankful that we got some good people here. And Kristen has done nothing more than brought good people. With that being said, we got to honor the time. Do you have a question for this gentleman while you're here? I didn't expect you to actually show up so quickly.
Um,
I still have
and
like six more.
honestly, I personally don't have no questions because we talk about what you do. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I know that by the time y'all finish, you will have told everybody how to get more active in their communities. And so that would probably be my only question to you is just make sure, not even question, but directive is make
Mhm.
sure you let these folks know they need to get out here and put in some work to make things better for the world.
stay out of my
That was
notes.
gonna be my question.
Stay right.
Yes,
Stay out of my notes.
yeah, get out of my head here.
Right.
Yes,
Stay out of my
teach.
notes. Let's get right to it. Let's get Lovey. Would you like to ask the question?
That was gonna be my question. Just what can we do more as a community,
Mhm.
and how do we help with bridging that gap between compassion and activism here where we are? I'm in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
You know, we're all over the place. How do we
Yeah.
do more, and what does that look like?
I want to do something like even more creative because I have my series is on my YouTube. Once a month, I try to make a political education a video about what I'm doing during the month and what I've learned and how I'm applying these new concepts and prompts that I put myself through because that helps shape character, that helps imagination, and that helps create. Um, for September, that was on my calendar right here. Yeah, last month, the theme in the strand was Strand 9 for month 9. It's the ability to accept and live within a diverse community. So,
Hmm.
what does that mean to us, and how can we start to assess where we are right now? There's a concept called pods, and let me see if I have. I drew out my pod list on the back of my calendar. It kind of looks like this. It's like a spider web of you put yourself in the middle. I have
Mm.
a section for God, my organizing, my creative expression, art, and then my family, my close friends, in the different networks that I've been a part of or that I'm interested in. The reason for that is because you would ask a question about how do we get involved. First, you have to know what you want to be involved in order to be of value. So before
Mm.
you go outside, you want to take the time to kind of assess your interest and where you want to go with your life and how does that fill into the overall picture. So one of the things that you could do offline is write out is to look up. They're called pods, and like I said, it breaks down your close friends, your networks, your organizations, and your creative expressions. What this will also do for you is you're real with it because you're going to write out your blood family. If you have a soul family, if you got a podcast family, you're going to write all of that out for you to see where you are right now and who you have around you. And
Mm.
once you do that, you can start to assess the limitations. Maybe, oh, if it's looking pretty empty, if you want to be involved in more things, I think that's a great start as an assessment for you to know where you want to go next.
Mm.
So based off of your interests, I would ask you that. What are some things that you're interested in, like that you do for fun?
Absolutely. And actually, it's
Hmm.
funny that you brought up pods because that was how, I don't know if you remember this, Anthony, but that was how I told you I got from Black Lives Matter to My Lives Matter
Hmm.
because the Black Lives Matter platform didn't really suit me as far as what they were going forward with, but I did understand why they were going forward. And so my activism became making sure the people around me know their rights when it comes to dealing with the police. No,
Mm.
so my lives matter as opposed to just a diaspora. And that doesn't mean the diaspora doesn't exist. It just means that I had to work from home outward, but I would
Right.
not have figured that out without writing it down the way he did.
Mm.
And it's going to look different with everybody because everybody has different experiences. So just also keep that in mind. You do have that
Mm.
ability to create something that comes from you. You don't have to follow anybody else.
Hmm. So what was there a major influence behind where you are now? I mean, I know you have um the motive or the incentivization, but it was there somebody that said, you know what, I see where you're going, let me meet you where you are, and let's get there?
Yeah.
Or was this one of those true, like we're going to talk about, was this a true grassroots journey where you were like, these are my seeds, I plant my seeds in the hole that I pulled up, and I get to cover that same seed with my hands? Was this all from scratch for you?
Yeah, that's a good kind of like an origin like question, and I really shout out my parents, and not because they're my parents, it's because of what they did and what they do.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure.
My mother's a nurse at the University Hospital in Newark, New Jersey, and she busts
Mm.
her ass 12-hour shifts for probably like the last decade that I could remember. I remember her being in school and me running around with my homework, and she's helping me out. I'm a middle child. I have an older sister and a younger sister. I have a niece and nephew on my pops. Um, but my mom was the catalyst for me to
Mm-hmm.
use my voice to treat people with care, kindness, and kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that using her traits, and then my father, and this is really interesting because we have like, I'm running with the generational curse. Like I'm breaking chains over here. I'm running with the work that my parents did and how they
Mm-hmm.
provided me and my siblings with this opportunity for us to take a risk and really follow our hearts. My father at 18 went into the military, and after that, he was a state trooper for 25 years. So
Wow.
Wow.
when that was the household that I was raised in. So these are the qualities of discipline, of hard work I gained through my father, and the using my voice and having care and compassion for the world. I feel like I nurture that from my mother, and seeing both of their careers. I was like, hell no, I'm not going into the military. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the nursing. I'm going to find my own path. I used their value in the lessons that they taught me to have this innovation, this creativity. You mentioned things about being a pioneer, because I am the first person to not go a traditional route of just following my parents, but I use them in my day by day examples just because of what I learned. Also, we learn a lot what not to do. We learn a lot from our parents. And for me to honor that is by me carrying the same type of values, but doing it with what was gifted for me. And it might not have been on my path for me to follow the same thing that my dad did or my mom did, but I'm still going to be of a service. I'm still going to find my way through life. But yeah, I really use my parents as my ground. And my older sister also, she's a teacher. My youngest sister just graduated from school with, I think, something with nursing. So it's in my family. My grandparents did a lot. And my parents are both from Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. I was raised in Piscataway and Middlesex, and the time that I spent based off of like my family and using kind of my family as that was all I needed. I didn't need another reason to go out and to have a good. I think naturally we are good people. That's natural. And then just to be inspired by my family first it was easy for me. I kind of feel very, very fortunate that I didn't have to look far for inspiration. I kind of more looked inside, and then I seen everything that I needed to see to go outside to try to create a different, world for the future.
Listen, I got nothing.
That's beautiful.
That's wonderful. Like I want to say hats off to you, hats off and kudos to you. And any way we can support your journey, we will make it a point. I know I will. I know Kristen already does. But you have Chestnut Checkers full support on furthering your journey. Make sure that you drop your information. I know you have your YouTube page, but if you have Instagram, if you have Facebook, the world needs to know what you're doing. The end. If we can't reach the global world, at least we can know where to find you, and we can know where to attach ourselves and say, hey, I was led here to meet this gentleman right here, Mr. Anthony Gray Jr. You guys, I want to say make some noise for this man because I'm a host by nature. But what I will say is the least that you can do is subscribe to this man's channel. Make sure you like in any way that you can support your community. I believe that he'll definitely be honored and respected by that. With that
So
being
on
said,
that note, I love y'all. I love this service that we give here at Chestnut Checkers and in the world. But I got to get back to work. So I will holler
we
at y'all
saw it.
later.
Peace,
Be
babe.
safe. We love you. We miss you.
Love you. I'll
Love
talk to you all
you.
Bye
later.
now. I'll ask this. Would you, and I know you said that your mother was a nurse. I didn't know that. Father was military state trooper. You said state trooper. Would you consider yourself to be a civil servant?
Mm, I don't know too much about civil servant, but a servant, I feel like, yeah.
Hmm. You said civil servant. When you
Uh,
hear civil servant, what does that mean to you?
I heard civil, and
the
that
word
felt,
civil.
yeah, like,
I don't know.
I don't know where that
I don't know
ideology
about that.
comes from. I've been unlearning to relearn. So I'm
Hmm.
very skeptical sometimes before I like try to commit to anything. Like, yo, where that word come from? Because words are
Mm.
also spells.
Words
We
are
have to
words.
be mindful of that. But servant, like being a servant of God, like that right there, that feels good. But to have another word in front of it, we could just be a servant.
Absolutely. So what I mean by civil servant, and it sucks that people take that context is so misconstrued. What I look at civil servant as is a person that's so we have community,
Mhm.
right? So I believe that community is any group of people that are able to sit down, rationalize, agree, disagree, live, believe, and have a source that they can always direct their, attention to. But with that comes the agreeability and the disagreeability, which in there lies civility.
Mhm.
How do you be charged to stop and listen? How do you know how to redirect a person to say, hey, I know how you feel, but there's a different way to approach how you feel rather than emoting the first impulsive thought. And
Mhm.
I believe that our civil leaders have tried that. Civil rights leaders. Do you ever notice that civil, it all, if you deal with civil, you deal with peace first and then, but civil simply means to be that temperance between the agreeable and the disagreeable, that mediator, that mediating line, like right there.
Mhm.
Or are you just like, listen, I got a pound on me, or we can talk about it passively.
Mhm. And I also looked up as you were talking. The civil servant is a government employee in the public sector who is hired based on merit for a career position, not elected. As like this is just something that I got off of
Oh,
the
of
internet
course, of
to give
course.
you context. But you're
Yep.
right. Like even to like our civil rights leaders and all the people during that era and that job
Mm-hmm.
title. So I think that I've played both parts before.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm on a contract, right? So it's not that I have a government job.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in nonprofits before as an outreach director, as a direct service coordinator, where I
Mm-hmm.
learned in harm reduction. It's not about the ideas that I think is good for you, more
Mm-hmm.
than it's about me meeting you where you're at and me asking what you need. So,
Mm.
as a servant, we have to keep that in mind that we're here for people.
Yeah.
So, in order to do that, we have to create the environment and the space to meet people where they're at without judgment and without any bias, because we're
Mm-hmm.
looking to understand and to hear you, to
Mm-hmm.
understand why you might be in this position, and then provide the different options. If that's something that you want, you can move from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's
Realistically.
realistically, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a social worker. I'm not
Yeah.
a nurse. I'm not uh, in a position with my business, for example, of being a general consultant. It's disclosure. Like I could talk to you, but I'm not liable for anything that happens outside of this space. You have to
Sure.
do your own research.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to, yeah, know what's best for you, and then most of the time, a lot of people just need to be heard. Without that, it's just to be heard. And listen to that somebody cares, and then
Mm-hmm.
if somebody cared about me, kind of make me want to care about myself, because
Absolutely.
most of the time, if you're in a very vulnerable position, our society, we're not really creating a nurturement environment with all the psychological things going on, a lot of health problems going on, a lot of distractions. So I feel like a civil servant not only talks about how you feel inside, but I'll be able to agitate you enough for you to be able to look outside, for you to start looking at the policies that are in place. Where's your
Mm.
tax dollars going towards? What who are your elected officials that are writing the programs and the policies in which you're operating by? But some people
Mm-hmm.
don't even know that that's existing. But as
Hmm.
an organizer, we're supposed to know, and that's kind of what I see in history. For example, a lot of our elders, that's what they did. They reached, especially in the civil rights era, it was spirituality brought to an actual policy that needed to be changed for us to have the current rights that we do now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think that what do you I know that we're 3/5, right? You know, when you deal with the Constitution, they put bylaws, but they never cancel out the original laws. So the original law kind of still exists. It's never really canceled out. It's just kind of put on the shelf until they need it. But the bylaws keep it going. What in your opinion do you think would allow us to elevate as far as culture for us? You know, you're in your movement individually. um what would it take to unite with another leader of your stature to say, hey, leader in Chicago, we share the same agenda, let's connect, and while we're connecting, let's pass through Louisville, Kentucky, and let's get there. What would it take for somebody to say, hey, I follow this man, and I understand where he's trying to get to and navigate. How do I now put him on notice and say, hey, I need that same thing on this city over here?
Mhm. I think you mentioned culture. If you
Mm-hmm.
knew what type of culture you want to be a part of, that's kind of how you start to identify leaders that you want to
Mm-hmm.
follow. A lot of what I've been, when I say unlearn to relearn, I grew up in New Jersey public school. Basically, this is how I identify what I'm about to say is the Eurocentric institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Euro coming from descendants from Europe. As I'm unlearning to relearn, I want to put myself more into an Afrocentric, Pan African context and a lens of how to look at myself and to look at the culture and what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mil Cabral, and I'm paraphrasing, but a person is as liberated as you can measure the liberation of a person based off of how connected to the culture of their oppressor that they are. So if I know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm being oppressed, am I really free if I'm following the same culture as my oppressor? Or should we be finding a culture that was actually made for us, which we could use Pan Africanism and study things of our indigenous and our historical, like in ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, things back
Yeah.
stemming from Africa. That's more of
Mm-hmm.
our culture versus me identifying with the white man's culture that's going to be causing me harm. And now we break down the psychological process of what we've been faced with these last couple of 100 years. So, in the process of unlearning to relearn, we would want to head toward a culture that actually is aligned with our values, that's aligned with
Mm-hmm.
our morals, that's aligned with our ethics. And then you would want to look outside the world to see, who has similar values that align with how I feel at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that being said, I just want to thank you. And listen, Mr. Gray, you've been definitely paramount, and definitely I've had to take notes. I've had to take some notes on this one. I want to reach out, and I'm personally going to reach out. And on behalf of Chestnut Checkers, we thank you just for a moment of your time to be transparent, to be vulnerable, to share for free some some simple information that's going to take us through transcendent years. Thank you for being honest. With that said, we got some videos we're gonna show, and they're not bad videos. They're actually pretty educational videos, so to say. I feel like I'm already fed, but these are some educational videos that we're gonna actually share. And I want your input first, if you don't mind, just your perspective. I hope I get them in order correctly. So we have this one first.
You got this. Come
I
on.
trust myself a little bit,
You got
a little bit. Let's get this one out first. Let's rewind. Is it showing?
it's up.
Yep.
Okay, so let's stop it. Let's rewind and then stop again. On mute. Boom. Can y'all hear?
Funded by tax dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Then there ain't no such thing as government funded anything. It's taxpayer dollars that fund everything. We see it in the government, a government bailout. That's some socialist shit. We're going, okay, you gambled, you fucked the money up, you did something wrong, or things went bust. We're gonna fund your we're gonna get you back on your feet with government funds. But we don't see ourselves as a part of a community. And they use words like that to trick us, right? Government funded, which is technically funded by taxpayer dollars. So it should be funded by the working class. This big corporation was bailed out by the working class. That's what they should say. This big corporation was bailed out by taxpayer dollars. That's what they should say. But if they say government funded, then they look at it like, oh, the government's taking care of corporations. But it's really us taking care of the corporations. If the government is funded by tax dollars.
Yeah. I was listening to that podcast earlier today. I was doing some research. Yeah, and his name has been coming up pretty a lot actually in the atmosphere that I'm in. He's doing some really good work with his podcasts. Yeah.
Lovey, your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! Like he was on point. What he's saying is that they're trying to say, oh yeah, government funded to make it sound like it's actually coming from somebody helping us, when the reality is the money that we're getting taxed on is funding the roads, schools, education, public health, public safety, and he mentioned socialism. Right? That concept, we have to put a pin in that because that's the shift. If you, in context, his whole episode, he's kind of breaking down the different trends that are happening. He mentioned like some comedy, Drewski. He mentioned a lot of good things in that episode, actually. But he's highlighting the contradiction of capitalism being so individual that we end up consuming so much that we're not even looking to have human connections because we're too gripped up on that consumption, and the individualism of having more makes it appear to be like we're successful when that's not us. That is not us. Socialism is more about, as he was breaking down, he said the government bails out as a socialist move. So an example that we could create as African people, if I needed, because he breaks down like, say, like a trade, you had a plumbing trade and you did electrician, and I just moved in the neighborhood. Instead of me paying somebody else because I have a relationship, yo, homie, let me cook you some dinner. I need help with my toilet. You feel me? I need, or I have a lawnmower, I'll cut your grass. You help me out with the wall. You help me out with the electricity, and with having relationships is going to take us out of the transactional thing when, like I said, as we currently in the country, we don't have even like the highest economic wealth dollar. Like the gap is pretty big. So you wouldn't want to, you were trying to put out the fire, not continue to use. I think Audre Lorde talks about how you don't want to use the same master's tools to build a new house. You want to use tools that are for us. So in the examples of scientific socialism, it's us being in control versus there's some boss telling us what to do and exploiting us for resources as we just get crumbs. And, they're still being rich and stuff like that. And how it breaks down to our day-by-day life is anybody who's working, anybody who has a kid, anybody who's paying bills, you're getting taxed on it if you're living in this country. So you should be upset that your money is being spent on a lot of things that are actually harming our people. And that's kind of the shift and why we need to know who's in charge of making these policies and we have to also develop things that we are for, because we can't continue to just always talk what we're against, what we're against, what we're against. What are we for? So we can start advocating what we are for, and finding those like-minded individuals that take us outside of us killing each other because you stepped on my Jordans. Something small like that is a reality that we're facing.
Yes.
Lovey, let's talk about it.
I feel like it's very on brand with how the rebrand is fed to us. I want you to depend on me. I want you to seek me for all your help, for all your knowledge, for everything. So when I explain it to you, I'm going to explain it to you in a way that leaves me in control and you without any wisdom, any history, any actual knowledge for yourself to proceed forward without my help. This could be a lie, it could be a fabrication, it could be whatever, but the rebrand and the reframe on it is come to me, seek me for everything that you have. Don't look to your people, don't look to your culture, don't look to other ways to facilitate it because I am master, I am Lord, I am all knowing, and I am everything. And you can't have it if, in fact, I don't give it to you. When, in fact, you're actually supplying it all in of yourself and all of the hard work and dedication and compassion that you're putting into it is actually the legs. It's actually the foundation. You don't even see who you are and what you are because it's been reframed, it's been tossed out, it's been put to the side. And the more that we talk about it, the more that we open our mouths about it, expose it, pull the covers back, pull the wool off, so to speak, the better we become. Because how do we grow without knowledge? How do we progress without some wisdom? We need that. I agree with it. Say it out loud. Spread that around. Stop thinking that you know it because it was on the news. Stop thinking you know it because I read it here and they said the government said it's this.
Sound bites are going to kill us. I used to say, and I still do say, it, hope is the detriment of our people. I believe in faith, but I believe that hope is the detriment of our people. Hope kills the black community. I've said it time and time again. You hope for something that, as far as anything inside of a public opinion, you think that that's going to save you. You're dreadfully wrong. There's always a debt to pay for it. And guess what? You're paying on money that you put in. So they tax you here, then they tax you again, then you ask for some help, and then they tax you for the
And
help.
then they tax you again.
You get taxed for the help. You know, you can't go to the church because the church itself, they still adopt the same um and I hate to go down this rabbit hole, but they adopt the Eurocentric pattern. You know, the church itself, it looks like it's meant for God, but it's a militarized zone. Okay, we'll only give to those that are helping us. And it's not like your offering is helping us. You're just sustaining us if you're just giving a couple dollars. But if you're not helping us, then you're not going to get no help back. Don't that sound like Social Security? No? Oh, I digress. Next video, we're going to talk about. Listen, I'm here for the noise. I try to talk
Look,
about it gently.
I agree with you, even in the fact that if you go into the church and let's say the preacher, minister, whoever gets up and they preach something,
Mm-hmm. I'm pausing
is
it. Go
that
ahead.
what it said?
Right.
Did you read that for yourself?
I mean,
Are they paraphrasing? Did
I, I
you?
have I have an interesting question for you, Lovey, and
Mhm.
maybe Anthony, you can answer this question. When did the losers decide to make the story? Like, why is it that the losers get to make the story? Like, I'm not gonna, like the losers always get to make the story and the rules.
It's delusion.
Like
And
if you
insidious
really
delusion.
break down this world, we're the majority. So when did we become the minority? Why are we told we're the minority?
He breaks it down. Why try to be humane with people that are not humane? Like, why try to have humility? Why do we have to try to prove ourselves so much to people who are never showed us a lick of humility, even to themselves?
Because
Like
the
And
message that was
the more
painted was that we're the most dangerous, most horrible, most to be feared, even though we're the ones taking all of the abuse and the aggression and the rejection and lies. The reframe.
mhm.
like
And
But
I
then it sits in
often
our heads and makes us think that that's what we've got to prove.
yeah, I
I'm
often
gentle.
feel like our human nature is like it's almost abnormal. Like my innate sense is not to hurt you. However, I'm logical enough to know that if you take all of my resources, you take all of my food, and you take all of my books, then I'm going to be desperate. And a desperate person will rob their neighbor. It's common sense. I've learned it as a kid. So if I've learned it as a kid, I can reckon that a whole lot of other people learn this. So, Mr. Government, Mrs. Government, why is it that you can still perpetuate this lie? That's a rhetorical question. We know the answer. But why is it that the losers get to win this battle and they get to win the battle of the story being told? That's what messes with me the most. Like, why do we won the battle? The North won the battle of the South, but the South gets to carry the flag.
Hmm.
Yeshua won, but yet the Rome gets to write the book. It doesn't make any sense. Prophet Muhammad, he foretold so many things, but yet the diaspora came from somebody else. Why do they why do the losers get to write the story? It's something I always thought about it. Anyway, we got another video right here. We're going to talk about this one really quick. Let's talk about it.
Not because they are weak, but because they were the first to see the machine from the inside. And I'm about to
Let's back it
defend
up
the
if
working class,
with your permission so you guys can hear the
See what he
entire
says.
context.
poor people of America. Not because they are weak, but because they were the first to see the machine from the inside. And I'm about to defend the working class of America like no one ever did. And by the time I finish, you'll see them with different eyes. For over a century, the American people have been fighting back. They have. Through civil disobedience, whistleblowers, grassroots movements, union strikes, and the relentless invocation of their constitution. The real battle wasn't red versus blue, it was corporation versus constitution. And every time the people gained ground, the system adapted. You have to understand something very important. When a system becomes parasitic, it doesn't destroy its enemies first. It destroys the host. And America has been the host. America was also the test lab. They were first to be flooded with addictive pharmaceuticals. First to be buried in weaponized debt. First to be psychologically fractured by engineered identity wars. First to be entertained into sedation. And first to be punished. Because if Americans woke up fully, it would be game over for the machine. That's why the system doesn't fear a foreign enemy. It fears the awakening of its own people. The American people are a hero, but no one told them they were living in the dragon's mouth. And what you're witnessing, in the collapse of trust, the social chaos, the inability to distinguish truth from manipulation, isn't because the people have failed. It's because the people have been systematically broken and then blamed for it. They are not the tyrants. They are the first line of resistance that's being crushed preemptively, so the rest of the world won't get any ideas. So what now? Do we abandon them? Do we mock them? Or do we finally recognize that behind the opioid crisis, the obesity, the division and the rage is a population in mourning? Mourning the death of its sovereignty, its family structures and its purpose. The question isn't whether Americans deserve to be free. The question is whether they'll remember that they were born to be.
Quiet, y'all, ain't
Mm.
it? Listen, I got questions. I have questions. First of all, your thoughts on his his truth. I guess I'll say it that way. Your thoughts on his truth. We're always going to go with the guest first.
It was pretty accurate. I feel like we're past the state. I feel like what he's been saying has been happening for a couple of years now, and it just kind of creates like that sense of urgency in me. Usually, when I hear things like that, is not like a surprising thing. I've heard that plenty of times. When I hear more about this country and its roots and intentions, and kind of in contrast about how it's like, oh yeah, we do have a birthright to be free, but like we're really sitting paying taxes on a floating rock. Like who made this up and who allowed it to be accepted amongst everybody? Because just like, what do we come here to do for real? That's where I start to like really question is, what has been happening. And it's really it's both it's an opportunity. It's definitely a big conflict, but this is also an opportunity for us just to continue to shift and evolve our mindset, because there's still beautiful things out in life. Like that's just not like a doom call. Like it has to rain in order for it to shine, in order for trees,
Absolutely.
in order for us to see the rainbow. And that's just us being more connected with Mother Nature and the earth, versus like this advancement of technology. How are we talking about doing stuff in space when we're still fighting each other? It's like, that's my thoughts.
Miss Lovey.
I can agree with what he said. It's even in that this is something that we're all coming to the knowledge of, and we have been. I can appreciate the rise of social media and the rise of truth over secret. I can appreciate that people are starting to notice that as soon as some truth is exposed, a distraction comes about 5 minutes later. So we can get to talking about that and getting distracted about that. And we're realizing, all right, enough with that distraction. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this because we see it now. We're getting it now. It makes more sense now. And that evolution and waking up, every moment that we get to see that, feel that, know that, that's beautiful. Say more. Open up a little more.
I've gotten to the place, Lovey, kind of what you were saying. I've gotten to that place where I'm like, it's ha ha till it's not. Like, all right, y'all. We see, like we know, and at this point now, what I did like about what this gentleman said was the understanding that who we are as a people, we really fund this entire country. Number one, we we as the working class America, we're the bottom line to all things that really exist. We're taxed the hardest. Although should we be taxed? And you know what I find fascinating is and I've traveled and I've done some traveling in my life. Thank God for tracking music. I've traveled a lot. We and I think Canada, we charge for water. Like water. 70% of this world. We have to We charge people for it. It's weird to me. There has been conversations about how do we charge for O2, oxygen. How do we monetize off of making people? So what do? They produce the vapes, and when we find out that the vapes ain't really helping you, what do? They send Diddy or they send Lil Kim, and then they come out with a different vape. Oh, that's not gonna work. Let's go ahead and send out 50 Cent. Let's go ahead and make a new Tyler Perry movie. And then another thing comes to kill our community.
Come on with a pandemic.
And guess what we want to do? All we want to do as a society is breathe.
Right. Just
I can go a quarter square mile, 5 to 10 smoke shops, 7 to 8 rundown, torn down churches. Not a bank in sight. Not a grocery store.
don't forget the liquor stores.
But I can definitely find not even a liquor, well, definitely a liquor store. I can find one or two. But I'll find a bunch of beer distributors. When I'm mad, I want to feel. And what I've said this for a long time, feelings cost money. They cost currency, should I say. I can say it here clearly now. Feelings cost currency. When you're happy, guess what you do? You want something to sustain your gratification of happiness. When you're sad, what do you want to do? You want to do anything to feel happy. When you're scared, what do? You do what you have to do to sustain your protection. When you're mad, what do? You do anything to diffuse it. It's going to be a currency exchange. When do we decide to say, you know what'll help me? Like this young man just said, Mr. Gray Jr., take a deep goddamn breath. Take a deep moment and recognize what you have, what's around you, and what you need to do to attain more, attain the greater. Instead of sitting around and understanding that, okay, every 2 weeks, my pipeline is being suffocated and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, there is something you can do about it. We were sovereign as a people at one point. Did you know that? Did y'all know that? Somewhere between like 50, 54 and 1960, we were sovereign people before they said, nope. Let me go ahead and put another law. And while we're at it, let me hang a couple of other people to make sure we scare you into not even realizing that you once were free for a brief moment, but you chose to come back to us. We're going to make you feel like there was no choice but to come back to us. Shouts out to the Harlem Renaissance. We're going to keep pushing forward. Yeah, a little bit of history. Ooh. Oh, yes. Anthony, you're a wonderful dude. I appreciate you. I told you I wish Kristen was on here. Make sure you guys follow this man. Make sure you check out his link, his bio, his page. I'm thoroughly impressed. But I got nothing.
And subscribe.
This has been an impactful and impressionable moment. We have one more video. This was one of my favorites. And it reminds me of my own journey. Like if I was not from this country and I was about 40 years older, it's crazy. If I said 50 years older, I'd be 90. I can't say 50 years older no more. If I was like 30 tomorrow, it's like, no, if I was like 15, 30 years older, this is what I would this would be my thought process. Let me go ahead and unmute this gentleman.
Because they left nothing behind. My ancestors, because they left nothing behind. Nothing at all. I've traveled the world as a black man, and I have never seen a black country where the people who live in it are foreigners that were brought there by blacks as slaves. Not one single country. Yet the black race has more countries on earth than any other country. 54 are on the continent. 13 black countries in the Caribbean. So 68 black countries. There's not a single black country where slaves were bought from outside by black people. I've traveled the world. Not a single country in the world colonized by a black country. There's nowhere you go on Mother Earth where the language they are speaking was imposed on them by force by a black country. I've traveled the world and I have never seen a religion that is imposed upon anybody anywhere in this world by a black country. The 68 black countries in the world, the largest continent by number of countries, not a single one of them has a nuclear weapon of mass destruction. Black countries across the world, none of them is responsible for what we call the military complex, where we are manufacturing dirty bombs and sending things into the water to pollute people. I've traveled the world and I'm yet to see one product that was forced to be sold in another country by a black country. So it means the black race is the only race on earth that represents what the United Nations have been looking for the last 100 years, peace. Yes, we fought internal wars just like anybody, and that is all we did. Therefore, in my travels, there was no place I went on earth where the people there pointed fingers at me and say, your people did this to me. Never. The black person is the only one who travels this earth and no one who point a finger. That's what my ancestors left behind. Nothing.
Holy shit.
That has to be definitely, I'd say, more powerful than anything any of the other.
That that right there sent me off. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
It made me
Andy,
like,
let's talk about it. Mr. Gray Jr. Let's get into it.
in relation to the first video, a brother was talking about socialism. The second video had the topic of like, yeah, understanding America is just, it's a bad place right now. Ever since it was started, the intentions is crazy work. And then this video of him going around the world and never seeing black people colonize other countries is kind of just like a testament. I would definitely want to do more research on that video, because I do know we are also conquerors, like throughout history. But I do understand as far as like the term like neo-colonialism and how we could be neo-colonists by adopting white ideologies and like white methods and stuff and enforcing that on our own people is something that we have to talk about, because it does happen. There's been a lot of examples of black people in government and kind of understanding the roots of this country and where they're getting the ideas from. Sometimes us as black people, we don't know of other options, so we find ourselves assimilating into whiteness, and then next thing you know, we're treating our own brothers and sisters the same way that a master or like our slave master was treating us. Now we're doing it to our own people, and that's and there's talking about, because that comes from a lot of self-hatred in which we learned, a lot of ideologies coming from Eurocentric institutions is a huge problem in our community too, and that's why I kind of like in the stance of Pan-Africanism, scientific socialism, and nationalism, us pouring and learning from presidents that achieved socialism and communism. Presidents out in Africa, you want to study, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, Patrice Lumumba, and a lot of those examples out there. That's kind of the shift of what we want to go back to, if anything.
I Lovey, you still here? Well, while Lovey is reloading, I was able, and I was I guess privy to have asked this question to a group of people. We were at a Sunday football game, and they did the national anthem. Before they did the national anthem, guess what they did? Lift every voice and sing, which we declare, what we call the Black national anthem. I mean, they were infuriated, angry, mad. Like, I'm talking like they would have killed me and we're cool. But I'm like, why are you so mad? I said, show me one word in this song that makes you mad, that makes you upset. First thing that it says is lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring within harmony of liberty. What there makes you so upset? Cause it's not. I said, oh, it's not riddled in your prophecy and wins. I believe that manifest destiny was not made for us. It was stolen, but it wasn't made for us. The concept of it. We're gonna do this in the name of. mm, you've seen somebody do it willingly without a lot of strife, and they were able to for community's sake, bridge the gap together. You can't do that with violence. One little note about the United States is that we, as free as we are as a country, excuse me, we've only had 17 free years. What are we in the year 247, 250 almost? A little bit over 17 years. We haven't been free. There's always a reason for war. War makes profit and war makes them rich. And then they take that concept and they bring it to another land. We are one country that's divided in 50 parts. Name me another country that does that. It's weird to me. But when you go to a different place, everybody loves or does not love you because of what you do. Who you are as a person, what you subscribe to is either for or against how that culture moves. If you're a murderer, then they cut your hands off. The end. Or you get murdered too. If you steal, then you won't steal anymore. But the first thing I do know about a lot of those communities is that they will ask what you need. I've seen a person steal a loaf of bread and they say, you know what? He's hungry. And they ended up giving him a month's worth of food so he never had to steal again. Our people. That's our people that do that. Other people, he'd be in jail for grand theft or grand larceny. That's weird to me. If you know a person's hungry, why don't you feed them? Why would you just take their house? It's weird.
Yeah, a lot
We
of
had
when I worked in harm reduction, what you just said is like, why are we criminalizing each other instead of helping each other?
Yeah, it's a weird journey. We have Mr. Alistair on the line. He's one of our back chat admin. He's also one of our co-hosts. I appreciate you, Alistair, for stopping in. How are you, dude?
Fellas, what's going on?
Hey man, bless. Eh, Did you see the video? What's your thoughts?
Well, I did not see the video that you're talking about.
All right. So long story short, this elder gentleman, he sounded like he wasn't from the United States or to say, but he knew English very well. He's
Okay.
traveled. He's very well versed in traveling, and nowhere in his travels and in his understanding has he seen black people be overthrowing other countries for the sake of their country and their blackness. However, there's other countries or people that do.
Hmm.
And there's no other we're not a race that militarizes mass weaponry. We're not or black countries aren't countries that enslave black people and sell them to other people. That's not what we do. However, we're the majority of the world. And he just simply said
Well,
we're just not
with
we're
that,
not those type of
with
people.
what you just said there, those countries have had their own quote unquote slaves. I mean, they definitely had the trades and all of that since back then, where they traded their owns and everything like that. I mean, but it's not like it. I see it as slavery is slavery. They had slaves they damn selves too. So I mean, Black people ain't motherfucking safe for the slavery thing either, bro. Like, to be honest, like black people are not safe from the conspiracy of slavery.
You know, I guess we'll put the conversation out there. We're going to put it out there.
We have to. If we're going to talk about the
We,
situation, we
I
got to
guess
talk
let's
about the
put it out there.
highs, the lows, the pros, the cons, all that.
I believe that it started somewhere, and I think that it was a somebody sold their soul, and whether or not a whole country did or a whole population did, I won't speculate, but I can say fairly that somebody did.
Yeah,
Otherwise it wouldn't be made appropriate. And it makes me wonder now, if we know that that's been the situation. What I mean, it could have been, royal king or Tsar Enoch from the third generation regime. We don't know, but what we
right.
do know is we carry forward the habit of
But you
of
also that what we also have to realize,
mhm.
hustling been around since the beginning of time.
Oh, sure. But would you
People
hustle?
are going to find ways to get money, and at that type of time, slavery was the way. You
I
get
want
the
to,
right person in the right space in the right opportunity. So he took over.
yeah, and I definitely have to finish doing some more research and understanding because I don't know the full history. I definitely do know as African people, we still had slaves due to the system of like, kings and queens, and they ran empires. And I think the video that we were just watching on YouTube talked about going to other places and trying to colonize other people versus because these are two separate conversations. Also, we definitely do
Definitely.
have to address the way that we treated each other. But I know that we did not demoralize our people when we did slave them. Like, we allow people to go back to finish praying to their God versus how Africans sold Africans to Europeans and what they did over here as far as chattel slavery and things like that. Those are two, not to say compare slavery or anything like that, but I know
It's
there is,
genuinely two different things.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is even modern day, there are Africans that can clearly say that the apartheid and what we dealt with, they had some similarities, but they were completely different. And a lot of them were like, we had our own stuff going on, but we would not want to deal with that. At least we had a something to fight for. Y'all, y'all ain't had nothing to fight for. You ain't had nothing. Even if they let you be free, what was you going to? You can't go back home. Where's your home? That woke me up. That was something that
Yeah,
was
even if
crazy
they
to me.
didn't have it, they're gonna have a hard ass time getting to
Like
them.
it was wild work. Like, I love the fact that South Africa did what they did, and when they started in Johannesburg, and they was like, "Yo, let me go into this library," seeing as though we can now go into libraries. Oh, this is my land. And these 10 miles or 10 kilometers, that belongs to me too. They went knocking on doors. It was like, yo, you got a week, and I'm being generous because y'all kicked me out of this stuff. My generations did, but you got a week. Pack your stuff and get the hell out. Well, where are we gonna go? You better go figure out how you gonna get back home the same way you got here. And they kicked them out of their homes, which is why we got so many South African white people and Dutch people over here right now because they got kicked out of their homes. Not their homes, but they got kicked out of their leasing spaces. I guess you want to call it. How do you say it? It was borrowed in due time. But that's been the kind of the crux of slavery, where we as a people, we look at slavery as our experiences with slavery. So it's always hard to conceive, like when an Irish person says, "Oh, we had slaves too." Yeah, y'all did, but let's quantify that as indentured servanthood. Let's classify it as such, because back then, when you're talking about um Mesopotamia and you're talking about Babylon era, they were more um, indentured slaves, or they were won by a war. They weren't bought necessarily. They were won by a war to build a regime. United States is not a regime. We are literally a mass land with 50 little states inside of it. If there was a issue that happened and it landed on US soil, we would not know what to do because we have so many different laws that we, constricted and comprised in order to make ourselves be the last ones to be a slave state. Texas sold half their land. It was selling it piece by piece until they was like, "No, we're not giving no more up. Let me go ahead and that it's crazy work." When did human life have a dollar on it? And how do we get our value and worth back?
Since the beginning of time. I,
So let me
I,
ask you this: could you be a slave owner?
yes,
Really,
I can. I really can.
Anthony? Could
I
you be a
really can.
slave owner?
No, that's not. Yeah, that's not my experience. I don't think I could.
I don't know
Could
if
you
I
wait?
could.
Could you be one though?
Could you be one?
If I had the choice, no, I wouldn't want. I wouldn't be one. Could I?
Could you be one?
Could anybody be one? Is that like is that like a relative?
No, I mean, I guess your perspective. Could you, being Anthony Gray Jr., could you be a slave owner?
Absolutely not. No, no. I'm not. I'm more like
Lovey,
Nat Turner.
right? Lovey, could you be a slave owner?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Miss Lovey. Miss Lovey,
Lovey
how are you,
back in the
sir?
building.
I don't think I'm capable of being a slave owner. I'm more likely to lead the type of revolt that gets a bunch of people killed for. So
Alistair, how could what I guess
I'm
what
not
would
gonna.
allow you, I mean, the hustle game is the hustle game, but what would it incite you to say, hey, I could be a slave owner?
Anything's possible. You might not like it at first. You might not have to be. You might not have to run a strict. I mean, position as many of the slave owners normally do. It could be different ways of doing it. I mean, but I can't say that I'm gonna just be like, nah, and cancel it out. If it was around that time and the right opportunity to, I mean, and the right mindset of what I'm doing to try to get to a better place or trying to get, I'm knowing me, I gotta find a way to get my people to where they need to go.
Hmm. Hmm. I have a question for you guys. Segregation. Let's talk about it. Segregation. Are you pro against segregation?
For all the right reasons. I'm not fully with it, but
And
if I
and
have
if
to
you
segregate anything, it would have
mm,
to be, I mean, racist people could stay with the racist people and shit like that. I mean, but I mean, any other stuff like I'm gonna just have to say I can't stay with because I try to look at on the other side of everything, but it's just like nah, I can't really do that. Segregation
hmm,
was a stupid thing for me, but yeah, I can understand why, like it was segregation. Let me just say that.
hmm.
First of all,
Uh-oh.
real quick, remember when you had asked the question if we had all the money in the world to put into something, what would we do? What was my answer? Segregation. Get the fuck on. Listen, that's one. Two, if and in fact we all aspire to be business owners, how are you saying you can't be a slave owner? What's the difference?
I'm gonna let y'all answer that because we go beef. I'm gonna let y'all answer. What's the difference between a business owner and a slave owner?
I could have a
Less
co-op where
less
we're all in
shackles and
charge.
whippings.
I could have a socio-economic co-op where we're all in charge and nobody's the boss, but we all equally profit off of the value that we give, versus me being your boss and exploiting you for your time and labor as I continue to profit and you continue to struggle.
So again, a co-op is separate from a business owner, which is why I said it the way I said it. You running a co-op where everybody is in partnership is totally different than a corporation, which people look at as business owners, especially the government. And especially the way the economy is now, I do not see much of a difference between the meals and shelter that was given to the slaves versus what we make now against the cost of living.
Hmm. So
And so
do
I don't
you?
have no problem with being a slave owner. If I can profit like they profit, I'm a profit because prophecy is needed.
Profiting is profiting.
I don't know if I could actually own a slave and be a slave owner. I don't think I
You was
could do it.
married, my nigga. You was married.
You said what?
You know what? So I say you was married, but that's a different conversation.
Oh yeah, right. Shut up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've been married
All of the
before.
institutions that are societally acceptable are forms of slavery in one way or another. And if you believe in God and your God is the same as my God,
But
we
I
can't
didn't
serve
own
two
a
masters.
slave.
Sure you did. That's why y'all
No,
ain't
my
together no more
ex-wife
because
was
she did
mean as
slave right, my
shit.
nigga.
She was
She did
mean
slave
as
right.
sugar honey iced tea, and she took everything.
Yeah, because you didn't beat her hard enough.
But,
What?
ladies and gentlemen, we are chestnut checkers. We're not doing this.
Slave
Wait a
owner.
We're
minute.
not doing this. We're not gonna do this. It's like no.
Slave owner.
I just wanted to jump in because I got on my rent today, so I was gonna play devil's advocate because I'm
You
listening
booted
in
me
the
good.
background.
And
Good.
congratulations for acing your test.
Congratulations, you're acing tests out here.
Trying to
Let's
hold my
celebrate.
grade.
100%, baby.
Listen, we out here.
Thank
Listen,
you,
make sure
thank you,
you
thank you,
guys
thank you.
like and subscribe. Not only do you like and subscribe, make sure you check out. I guess I can call him my new friend, Anthony Gray Jr. Insightful, passionate about his work, passionate about his art, and also very focused on his niche. This is Aaron Gray Jr., founder of AG's Agency. You guys, make sure you check him out. You can find him on YouTube at AG underscore formula. He also has other links. I gotta get him back. I'm trying. Kristen, I miss you. You have
I
no
know.
idea.
I
I
miss
miss
you too.
you. I miss you so
It's
much.
okay.
My thumb
Couple
and
more
my
weeks.
index fingers chapped. Listen. But you
Ah,
can find him on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. You can find this man on YouTube. He has his own website. I gotta put it up there. He has his own website. You can go to agsagencyhelp.wordpress.com /meet the founder. Listen, if you guys want a good biography, I'm here to tell y'all that Joker had my nose burned a little bit. Like, how do I support? Like, how do I solicit?
word.
How do I become a partner? How do I become even, I guess, lined up, aligned? Is that the right word? Aligned? And how do I further that journey and support it? This is how you do it, y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. We are also Chestnut Checkers. We are here every Wednesday at 7:30. We're on Twitch. We are also able to be contacted on Gmail. Make sure you reach out to us. We're also on YouTube. We're here right now. Clearly, y'all see that Instagram's been treating us wrong, so we had to go ahead and say, hey. So on that note, we also can be found also on TikTok. We can be found on Facebook. Did we say Facebook? We can be found all over. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. I can't speak for y'all, but I've learned more than I expected to learn today. I'm usually exhausted after the show, but I've actually been fed today, and I appreciate it. Anthony Gray Jr., thank you for being an inspiration to not only the Northeast, but you decided to jump over the Mason Dixon line and you was like, let me just kick down some grass down here. We want to thank you so
Come
much for
on.
just being a pioneer, a philanthropist, a strong young black man that's encouraged and motivated to do great things and to bridge the communities. Kristen, thank you so much for introducing us to such a great partner. Alistair, always shouts out in great perspective. I enjoy your presence. I, Alistair, put the phone up.
Yes, sir.
Hey, brother. I'm only about
What?
5'8" talking shit. I'm gonna need to see more of you, man. I miss you, dude.
No,
That's all I
definitely,
got.
definitely, definitely.
I
I
miss you,
got you.
dude. Listen, you make things make sense. I miss you, dude, and I'm glad to see you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Of
Lovey,
course, and we got a lot of things coming up
yes,
for sure.
sir. Yes, sir.
Lovely, all of us. I mean, we're going to switch over to TikTok. We're going to start taking it from there too.
Absolutely,
Let's go.
Lovey. You
It's time.
have you have what's called the Queen's Gambit, and we're going to sit down and we're going to get a perspective from none other than the fairy herself, Miss Lovey. Whenever you're ready, let's take it out.
The first thing that I want to do is thank everybody for coming out on tonight and being a part of this awareness and this conversation. And to Anthony, I just want to say that it was like insightful to see someone trying to bridge the gap between love and compassion, leadership, activism, knowledge, community. That's amazing. That being said, change in this country has never really come from the top down. It's always been built from the block up, the Boston Tea Party. That wasn't a bunch of polished politicians in wigs making speeches. That was everyday folk tired of being taxed without a say, throwing tea in the harbor to send a message. Rerun this board too. That was one of the first major grassroots moves. A pawn stepping up and saying, I might be small, but I still got power. And from there, that same spirit kept showing up. Abolitionists risking their lives to end slavery, women marching for the right to vote, workers shutting down factories until someone finally listened. Every move was strategic, not wild, not random. It was chess, not checkers. Every protest, every petition, every rally, another piece being moved into position. The civil rights era took it to another level. Think about the Montgomery bus boycott, a 381-day check on the system that thought it couldn't be challenged. Sit-ins, freedom rides, marches, they weren't spontaneous, they were calculated moves, coordinated by people who understood the long game. And the strategy didn't stop there. Stonewall lit a fire for the LGBTQ plus rights. Earth Day put the planet on the political agenda. Occupy Wall Street called out greed. And now, in the digital age, hashtags like Black Lives Matter and Me Too have turned tweets into rallies and posts into policy. From tea in the harbor to protests in the streets, grassroots movements have always been how regular people flip the board. Because real power doesn't come from titles or thrones, it comes from pressure. And just like chess, winning the game is about patience, positioning, and people working together to corner the king. Tonight, I want everybody to open their eyes, open your hearts. One of the things that Anthony said really stuck out to me tonight was that a lot of this starts from the inside and seeking what's here, putting that down on paper and delving into what you are, who you are, how this fits for you, and how this can branch out. And if we're going to really do that, we got to dig a little deeper. We got to put away that shallow mentality of stuff that we've learned before and let's unlearn to relearn, right? Let's get to it, y'all.
Shouts out. Lovey, I appreciate you. We are Chestnut Checkers, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe. Listen,
Look at my girl.
ask the
Oh,
questions that matter. Who am I? What am I? Where am I? When am I? How am I? Why am I? If so, then you need to go out and keep moving with the same thought process, y'all. We are Chestnut Checkers. Anthony Gray Jr., it was an inspiration and an honor. Thank you again to the panel, to the admin. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for making it easy. I can't wait to see y'all every Wednesday at 7:30. Make sure you tune in. Y'all take care. Have a good night, everybody.
good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody. Love you. Like, share, subscribe, and follow.